So let's be real, the world of AI is noisy, right? Every single day, there's some new game-changing tool. But how do you know which ones are just hype and which ones can actually grow your business? Well, today, we're going to cut right through all that noise. We're breaking down a definitive ranking of the best AI tools based on an analysis by AI Incubator founder Dan Martell.
So, let's just get right to it. This is the big question we're all asking ourselves, isn't it? We're not just looking for cool tech toys. We're looking for tools that give you a real return on your investment. Some of these can seriously multiply your business, while others, well, they're just a massive waste of your time.
And look, this isn't just some random list pulled out of thin air. The ranking we're about to walk through comes from someone who has personally tested over 500 different AI tools. I mean, as the founder of an AI incubator that launches a new company every single month, he has to know what actually works.
To make sense of all this, we're using a really simple tier system. Think of it like this. S-tier tools are the absolute non-negotiables. A-tier is widespread and really powerful. B and C tiers, they're more for specific niche situations, but they can be super valuable. And F tier, well, let's just say you shouldn't even bother. All right, let's start at the very top of the pyramid. These are the tools that are considered foundational to any modern business. If you're serious about using AI to get ahead, this is exactly where you start. Okay, no surprises here, right? The undisputed king is ChatGPT. It's the one that kicked this whole thing off, and it is just completely dominating the market. Did you know that almost 700 million people use it every single week? The bottom line is really simple. If you're not using it, you need to learn it, period. But while ChatGPT is number one, it's definitely not the only player in the game. The large language model space is a total battlefield. According to this ranking, Grok is coming up as a strong number two, and people love it for its accuracy and deep research. Claude is fantastic, especially for writing and for code, while Gemini's biggest strength is how it plugs right into the whole Google ecosystem. So, our next S-tier tool falls into a category that is absolutely critical to understand: no-code workflow automation. Now, in simple terms, these tools are basically like digital glue. They connect all your different apps and automate those repetitive tasks for you, all without you ever having to write a single line of code. And the long-reigning champion of this whole category is Zapier. I mean, this thing's been around for over a decade, way before the current AI boom, and it connects with over 6,000 different apps. It's considered an absolutely foundational tool for automating your business. All right, let's talk about meetings. We all have them, and we all know how boring taking notes can be. Well, the next S-tier tool, Granola.ai, is a total game changer for this exact problem. It's designed to record your calls and then automatically spit out summaries, notes, and action items. Now, what's really interesting here is why Granola is ranked so highly. See, unlike other tools that have a bot join the meeting, Granola just records from your end. This isn't about being sneaky, it's about being able to take your own notes without interrupting the flow of the conversation. And you know what the biggest signal is? It's the favorite tool among the really deep technical AI experts.
And that expert approval? It's no joke. The source of this ranking, Dan Martell, puts it this bluntly. When someone who lives and breathes this stuff says a tool should be mandatory, yeah, it's probably worth paying attention to. Okay, rounding out the S-tier are a couple more powerhouses. You've got Gamma.app, which is fantastic for turning simple text into these beautiful presentations and reports. And then there's YourAtlas.com, a leader in voice and phone call automation. And hey, for full transparency, Dan Martell notes that YourAtlas is one of his portfolio companies, but he truly believes the future of interfaces is voice, and this is the platform to watch. All right, now let's move on to the A-tier. These are the power players. They're widespread, they're incredibly useful, and they're just one step below being absolutely non-negotiable. So once you have your S-tier tools locked in, this is your next stop. So we know Zapier is the S-tier standard for automation, but the A-tier offers some really compelling alternatives for different types of people. Gumloop is awesome for visual thinkers, people who prefer to build workflows with more graphical interface. And for developers, N8N is this powerful open source option that gives you a ton more control and customization. Now, for all you content creators out there, this next A-tier tool is an absolute lifesaver. We're talking about 11 Labs, which creates incredibly realistic AI voices. So let's say you mispronounce a word in a recording. You don't have to go back to the studio. You can just generate a pickup in your own voice. It saves a massive amount of time and money. Okay, now we get into the B and C tiers. It's really important to understand these aren't bad tools, not at all. In fact, they can be incredibly powerful, but they're designed for more niche or situational uses. They're not going to be for everyone, but for the right person, they can be a total game changer.
For example, if you're a video creator, Runway ML is a B-tier must-have for AI video stuff. For a designer, Midjourney is the absolute go-to for creating stunning AI images. And for a non-technical founder with a big tech idea, Lovable is the perfect platform to build an app using just prompts. Niche, but you can see how valuable they are.
Okay, we've covered the good, the great, and the very specific. Now it's time for the verdict. We're going to reveal the one tool that landed in the F tier, and, most importantly, what you should do next to turn all this information into real action.
And here we have it. According to this ranking, the one to avoid, the only tool to land in the F tier, is Apple Intelligence. Yep, despite all the fancy branding and the big launch, the verdict from this expert is pretty blunt. It's just not good.
And the feedback really couldn't be more direct. The advice is to just not use it. Apparently, people who try it just go right back to the other AI tools. Until Apple launches something that's way, way better, the recommendation is to use basically any of the other tools we've talked about today. So, we've just gone through a ton of tools from S tier all the way down to F, and it is completely understandable if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed right now. But the goal isn't to use all of them. The goal is to just start with one, and there's a really simple way to do that. Here is your simple 4-step plan to get started. First, just pick one tool from this list that genuinely got you excited. Second, don't wait, install it right now. Third, you gotta force yourself to use it and build a new habit. And finally, connect that new action to a habit you already have in your workday. It's a technique called habit stacking, and it really works. So, looking back at everything we've covered, from the non-negotiable S tiers to those niche powerhouses, the final question is for you. Which one tool will you master first to save time, be more productive, and really grow your business?